What is going on, everyone? We're going to go over initial thoughts and impressions of this 22 Beta 300RR. As some of you might know, I recently picked this up to replace a Sherco 300 two-stroke that I just, for whatever reason, could not get along with. So we'll talk about kind of overall characteristics, first impressions of the bike, what I've done to it, and future plans. So first of all, dealer setup, dealer or the factory, whoever did it. I got this bike, took it home, and as I started to put my protection parts and things on, I started to tear into it a little bit, just kind of see what was going on. And wheel bearings, swing arm pivots, and the shock, all those things actually surprisingly well greased. Looks like they use some sort of like white lithium grease almost. Not too bad. Carburetor, I pulled it off to check the float height. It was about 8.5, 9 mil, which is where I was going to set it to. So pretty impressed with that. So some modifications that I've done, mostly I've only done protection parts. I live and ride in Colorado. It's pretty rocky and pretty rough on the bike. So we've done the full wrap Cycras with the bar insert. Pro Taper Evo bars. That's the factory Suzuki Husky bend. I like the height of that. Tugger strap, trail bound, little straps here on the fender. I typically would put like a toolkit or hoodie, whatever the case is there. The Beta / bulletproof front disc guard, Beta radiator guards, a Cherbys clutch cover there, swing arm guard. My apologies for the lighting over here, it's pretty terrible in this garage. Bulletproof rear disc and caliper guard, a Cherbys case covers on that side. A Cherbys fork lug guard there, and then last two things that I've done is the FMF turbine core, just because in Colorado we have to have the spark arrestor, and the guts cover and soft foam. I guess while I'm on that subject, so the 22 Beta seat actually wasn't too bad. It's fairly soft. My only complaint with it was it's very narrow. So even like limited seating or sitting time, it kind of wears into your butt bone pretty quickly. So this soft foam really helps out with how narrow it is on this bike. Power delivery I like a lot better. It's a 300, so it's got some grunt. It doesn't like to rev out too much. I think there's still a little bit of work I need to do with tuning the carb. It has a 38 Pilot, 158 main. It's got I haven't even checked the needle that it comes with. I'm probably going to do a Suzuki NECJ, try that out. It's pretty decent. It lacks a little bit of bottom end. Also keep in mind, I'm in Colorado. I ride anywhere from 6,000 to 10, 11,000 plus. So trying to work that out. Yeah, so power is pretty solid. I do like how linear it is. If I can get it to be a little crispier off the bottom, that'd be good. The map switch, I like a lot, similar to the Sherco. You can actually tell the difference. Unlike the KTMs and Huskies in my experience, where it doesn't really seem to do a whole lot. There's a noticeable and felt difference in between the two maps. The gearing comes stock with 1448. For where I ride and the type of riding that I do, I felt that hill climbs were a little tough. It seemed like it wanted to be in between gears, or a hill that I thought I could be in second gear. Halfway up, 3/4 up, I realized that I need to be in first, which usually is not a huge deal, except it's super easy to find neutral when you're riding the bike on a hill. So we went down a tooth in the front to 13, and that's actually been pretty solid. She likes the tractor ride up hills now, pretty similar to the cross trainer that I was riding for a couple weeks before buying this bike. Handling is pretty sweet on this bike. I haven't done anything with the fork height, or believe it or not, I actually haven't done anything with sag either. I just kind of been riding how it is, and it's been pretty solid. Feels very flickable. I don't know if that's just how, due to the weight, it's fairly lightweight. It's kind of in between the KTMs and the Sherco. Could just be how it carries the weight. The seat height is a little lower on this. It's about 36.5, which I think makes it one of the lowest seat heights out of the full-size bikes. Turning radius, people like to complain on this bike. I don't think it's terrible. I did pull the nut out of that steering stop bolt there and then ran it in as far as I could without it hitting, and it seems to be doing just fine. The suspension on this bike, I haven't done anything to. I checked all the clickers and everything, just set it to the standard settings according to the manual, and it's actually been pretty solid. I'm about 190-ish, but without gear. So I might do springs in the future. Valving and everything I actually think is pretty solid how it is. Most of my riding out here is slower paced, more choppy stuff, but for my skill level, it also handles the faster whooped out trail as well. Pretty good. Fit and finish of the bike is one thing that I do enjoy over the Sherco. Everything goes together pretty nicely. It's easier to work on. For whatever reason, the Sherco, just taking stuff off and putting it back together, it just seemed like a pain. This bike is just easier to work on. Everything looks better, which, it's an enduro bike. It's going to get beat on. So looks are kind of whatever. However, for the price we pay for these bikes, especially that Sherco, I think it was like, $12,500 out the door. You just expect a little more for your money. Airbox on this bike is super simple. Obviously no tools. Pull there, pull here, it comes out. The filter itself, they redesigned it for, I think in 20 they redesigned these bikes and the filter. So like the cross trainer, it's a little bit of a pain with how the filter goes in. This one, if you're familiar with like the KTM and its family of bikes, it's the same way, where it's the two little prongs in the filter. You put one inside, put one on the outside there, and it goes in. It's next to impossible to mess up. Super quick and easy. Put that back on in a second. The seat, super simple. One button that comes in, pops out, comes right off. Nothing too wild inside of here. Lithium battery that it comes with. This bike is injected, which I plan on keeping it injected. I really like the simplicity of having the injection, throwing oil in. If I go on a ride, I don't have to worry about carrying extra oil and taking the chance of it like busting in a bag and getting everything all messy or trying to calculate how much to put in. Just make sure this is topped up before the ride, and swing by the gas station, fill it up. I did notice for how I'm riding, when it got into some gnarlier terrain, the bike overheated. It puked out about 1 liter of coolant. So I did get the fan on there, filled the radiators back up with engine ice, and it seems to be doing all right after that. What else? Parts availability. So obviously with the Sherco, I had some issues with getting parts in a timely manner. Beta's better. It's still not going to be like your KTM family of bikes, but for me, I can go into a store and get Beta parts just over the counter easier than I can the Sherco. And then as far as ordering, which I learned when I ordered the radiator guards, ordering from Beta USA, when you order from them, you don't necessarily just order from their warehouse. When you put in the order, it actually will go out to any of the Beta dealers in the US. These actually shipped from Bone Cutter Off-Road out of Missouri. I think I ordered them, I want to say I placed my order on the 4th of July. It shipped out on the 5th, and they were here at my house on the 7th. So much better parts availability and shipping. All in all, I am super happy with the bike with its 8.5 hours on it. It's still getting broken in, still kind of gelling with it and learning the bike, but overall it's pretty solid bike and probably my favorite so far.